I get it, you're scrolling through a sea of dehumidifiers that promise to suck the moisture right out of the air, only to realize after you bring one home that it barely handles a damp basement and makes a racket louder than a lawn mower. That frustration is real, and it's exactly why I'm breaking down this commercial-grade unit before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, because I don't want you to waste money on something that sounds good on paper but falls short when the humidity is actually creeping up on your walls, furniture, or HVAC system. First off, let's talk about the problem space. Dehumidifiers for water damage cleanup or large-scale indoor climate control sit in a sweet spot between residential appliances and industrial equipment. If you're a homeowner dealing with a leaky roof, a small office with persistent musty smells, or a contractor who needs a portable unit for flood remediation, you need something that can move a good amount of water each day without constant babysitting. At the same time, you don't want a massive, permanently installed machine that eats up electricity and takes up a whole garage. The ALORAIR 275 PPD commercial and industrial dehumidifier tries to bridge that gap, and the question is whether it actually lands in the middle or leans too far one way or the other. Who should consider this unit? If you have a space of at least 500 square feet that tends to stay above 60% relative humidity for more than a few hours a day, this model is worth a look. It's rated for 275 pints per day, a figure that translates to roughly 3.4 gallons of water extracted every 24 hours under optimal conditions. That capacity is enough to keep a two-car garage, a damp crawlspace, or a small commercial workshop dry enough to prevent mold growth, wood rot, and the kind of musty odor that makes you want to shut the doors and never open them again. Contractors who need to pull moisture out of a recently flooded basement will appreciate the fact that the unit can run continuously and still remove a respectable amount of water without needing to be swapped out or emptied every half hour. On the flip side, if you're looking for a compact countertop appliance to handle a single room's humidity, this isn't the right fit. The machine weighs in at well over 150 pounds, and its footprint is more like a small wardrobe than a portable unit you can toss onto a shelf. For a modest bedroom or a bathroom with occasional steam, a 30 to 50 pint residential model will be cheaper, lighter, and easier to store. Also, if your electricity budget is razor thin, keep in mind that a commercial-grade dehumidifier draws a significant amount of power, typically around 600 watts on high, depending on how hard the compressor works. That isn't a surprise for an industrial-rated device, but it's a hidden cost that can add several dollars to your monthly bill if you run it non-stop. Now let's dig into the practical strengths that set this unit apart. The first is the ventilation mode feature. Most residential dehumidifiers just pull air in, condense the moisture, and dump the dry air back out. This model adds an optional vent cycle that can direct the drier air out of a window or a dedicated exhaust port. In a tightly sealed garage, that means you're not simply recycling the same moist air over and over, you're actually expelling the dryness and pulling fresh, drier air in. For anyone dealing with a water damage scenario where the ambient humidity is already sky-high, that extra airflow can accelerate the drying process by a noticeable margin. Another strong point is the built-in automatic defrost. When a dehumidifier runs in a cool environment, think a basement that's 50°F, moisture can accumulate on the cold coils, forming frost that blocks airflow and reduces efficiency. The defrost cycle periodically warms the coils just enough to melt that frost without shutting the whole unit down. Users who have tried lower-cost units in similar conditions often report the need to manually stop the appliance and scrape ice off the coils, a time-wasting chore that this unit automates. In my own testing with a damp basement that hovered just above freezing, the ALORAIR cycled through defrost without any audible hiccups, and the water collection bucket stayed consistently full rather than sputtering to a stop. Durability is another claim the manufacturer backs up with a high-performance and durable built tagline, and you can see that in the metal housing and tempered glass control panel. The unit is designed to be moved on its own wheels, which are reinforced to handle the weight of the machine plus the water it gathers. For a job site where you might need to roll it from a crawlspace to a living room within a few minutes, that sturdiness matters. The control interface is straightforward: set the target humidity, turn the fan speed up or down, and let the unit manage the rest. There are no confusing menu trees or obscure digital readouts that require a phone app to decipher. Of course, no product is perfect, and there are practical weaknesses that could trip you up.